What's going on, Leo? This is G. You're watching Allastrology, and we're talking about January. We have always some endings and some beginnings, but we also have Venus. The birth of Venus happened in December. So we're going to jump right there and start with Venus. Venus, right. First week of December, literally the first couple of days of December, you may have noticed a difference. Venus is about love and money and receiving. It's how I receive, right? Venus is the good things in life. It's the creature comforts. It can be food, how I receive, when somebody treasures you, when someone treats you right. It's also that desire factor, whether it's for another or for an object or a thing or food, because Venus is sensual. It's the five senses. So think of the smells, the tastes, the touch, the sights, you can see and hear the sound. So, you can let your imagination run wild as to things that would appeal, because Venus wants things to be beautiful, to feel beautiful, to look beautiful, to taste wonderful. Has a little bit of a sweet tooth. That's Venus. If you're somebody in your life where you're like, gosh darn it, there are these times where I behave, I'm really good, and then all of a sudden I had like this raging sweet tooth, right? Look where Venus is. See what sign she's in. See how she lines up in your chart, and that will pretty much tell you a whole lot. And the good news is it's like, okay, it's going to move. It's not going to last forever. Right. So you see how Venus loves the good things, loves gifts, right? Box of chocolates. That's Venus. So what happened? In December, Venus had a birthday. Now, this is a normal thing. Every 2 years, Venus has a rebirth, we call it. And for you, Leo, Venus had a birthday in your fifth house. So astrologically, your fifth house, think children, fun, joy, creativity, romance, how I take a risk with my body. What do I do for fun? Also is like entertainment. Think of Venus. If Venus is there, you may find shopping appealing all of a sudden, like if you go through spurts where it's just like not a thing, and then all of a sudden you're like, ooh, I'm really into Christmas this year, right? Or I'm really into gift giving this year. Venus, rebirth of Venus, fifth house. Fifth house is Leo energy anyway, right? Yeah. So you have Sagittarius there. Am I correct about that? Typically, that's where the birth of Venus happened. You have Sag there. So it's really going to be a love for all Sagittarian things, which is travel, seeking knowledge, becoming wiser, constantly searching, because it's just always, think of Jupiter when we think of Sagittarius, okay? I'm on a journey. And I want to go on this trip, right? So there's a lot of different ways you can take a journey. You don't have to always be in the car going, one coast to the other. You can get in the plane, you can travel. There's other ways that we can travel. Since online, there's a whole ton of ways where we can kind of see things we never would have seen, especially with drone imagery we get now. It's crazy, right? If you're not into leaving the planet and all that, which Jupiter is the cosmos. It's beyond the earth. It's up there. It's the heavens. Jupiter's got the knowledge of everything, of all the other planets. Some say it's God energy that Jupiter is, right? So Venus having a rebirth, there may be things that you started learning about at one time, and maybe you kind of were like, I don't want to do that. And then you kind of are picking it back up again now, or maybe a new love for whatever it is you're seeking, okay? Being in the fifth house may have to do with children and may have to do with their education. It could be like going on vacation, because it's really a fun energy, fifth house, really fun and very creative. What I love about this is that it's Jupiter, and Jupiter co-rules, Sag and Neptune. Very, very creative energy. So it's nice that you have Jupiter here. It's actually, I think it's pretty awesome. The trick is, I've heard a lot of people say they don't necessarily think they're very creative. They don't necessarily see themselves as a creative person. It's like, but it's fire and fire. It's fire in Leo. There are other ways to be creative other than to physically have babies. And that's the secret. We use our energy at that primal level. And that doesn't mean bad, by the way. It doesn't mean less than. It just means, that's just one way of using it. But then we get to a point where the energy raises up in our body and we start opening up different chakras is what it is, right? So we get out of the root chakra and it comes up to the, to the emotions and the feelings, and then to the heart, and then to the throat chakra, and then here, right? Where we literally start getting information from above, or possibly traveling, but yet your body's staying in one spot. Now, I know recently I had a subscriber made a question about this, and I kind of touched on it. But let me know, for you Leos out there, are any of you experienced, or maybe not even experienced? Do you astral travel? Have you had times when you were like, maybe you've got a curiosity, and maybe maybe it's a trait of yours where you have that skill, where you don't really think about it. You just know, you go and you do it. And it's a really cool way of being somewhere other than where you are at the moment. It's got that Neptune vibration and Jupiter, of course. So it's the ability to go to other places on the planet, or even off planet, out into space. Yeah, right? Using this. Right, using that other side of the brain, which is the creative side. Right. So creativity doesn't have to be the paintbrush, right? It doesn't have to be that way. It can go a lot of different ways. But I would love to hear if anybody is experienced, or if they have done it, or if they have heard of astral traveling, or if they have any other input, any other feedback, any other ideas of how Sagittarians are creative. How do they use their creativity? Leos with Sagittarius in the 5th house. There are people who just don't know. They're stuck. So you guys, this isn't me. I'm not Leo ascendant. Another Leo ascendant would be the best people to talk to. So please leave your information down below, and let's hear about that. This is a 2-year cycle, by the way. I think I already said that, but it's a 2-year cycle. And because it's in the 5th house, it's not just about being creative, but romance. There might be things you're doing, right? For some of you, you might be meeting somebody. Somebody might dip into your life and you're like, oh, wow. There just might be something there, okay? Or if you're already married, if you're already committed to somebody, a rekindling, a little romantic, a little fun, right? A little, oh man, remember we used to do this, because it's the 5th house, what we used to do. Right? When we were kids, it was more play-like. Think about the romance stage, right? And then you get into, the honeymoon stage is over. All right. If you're married, like, things change. Things get serious real quick, especially if there's children involved, right? So it's like, let's have fun again. Let's go back. Let's refresh. Let's, whatever that is in your own life, please leave it in the comments so that you can give other people some help, some ideas. Just give them some pointers. So how they can use this energy. Okay. Now, I'm going to pull a card. And for those of you who haven't seen my other videos yet, we're using a different deck. It's the new year. I should have opened it up saying happy 2023. Yes, happy 2023. But you'll probably see this before 2023. I hope to God I get these out before then. So I'm doing this a little bit different because I'm hearing differently. They're telling me to spread the deck out, to just spread it out. And I'm literally feeling for that second card. There's hidden cards. They keep telling me these are hidden cards. For Leo, they're saying I'm going way back, and they're sticking together. They're telling me, look at that. Spot on. I got 3 cards. Which one is it going to be? You pick. What card? Which card? I don't know why we're doing it this way. We just are. It's abundance. It's Jupiter. This is why we're doing it this way. You pick which card it is. Seriously. You tell me which card it is. Put it in the comments right now. Which card do you want me to do? The blue one is number 1. The middle one is number 2. And the outer one is number 3. Okay. And maybe it looks backward on your screen, but blue, number 1, middle green, number 2, outer green, number 3. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through each of them. And whichever card you picked, that was the one that was for you. Okay. Yeah. We're spicing it up. Fun. Number 1. It's a Uranus card. You picked different and unique, maybe shocks and surprises. You picked a Uranus card. If you picked number 1, you picked the Awakener. When Uranus gets picked, this means you are ready to elevate. You are ready for your consciousness to grow, which means you're going to be more aware of yourself, not necessarily your surroundings or other people, but yourself and the thoughts that you keep, the energy that you hold, what kind of space you keep. Is your space sacred? Do you respect your own space? Do you love yourself? Do you nurture and parent yourself? Are you your best friend? If not, why not? What do you have to do that? Once you do that, you start treating others differently, but all that is involved in the awareness factor, believe it or not. It sounds so mundane, but it becomes a big deal because what happens is we wake up the little me. The little me gets loved, and then all of a sudden, we can grow in ways we didn't know were possible. So Uranus is a shakeup normally. It says it's your potential for sudden change, enlightenment, and awakening. What's crazy, does that look like, what building does that look like on that tall building? How it's got the antenna on it? What building is that? I can't think of the name. I want to say that that's a building in New York. I could be wrong though. So yeah, Uranus, you're ready to wake up your consciousness. You remember, this is also angelic realm, getting assistance from the angelic realm. So know that you're not alone in this process. This is playful and exciting. I love this for you. Uranus is also friends. It's group energy, social services. It's also organizing groups. And we think of unions, things that will improve the lives of humanity. Inventions, Nikola Tesla, right, using creative energy. Now we're going to go ahead and pick that middle green card. Is the 9th house. When I talked about your 5th house and Sagittarius being there, yeah, religion and spirituality, higher learning, going to college, but I know philosophy on life, right? It's also all Sagittarius and Jupiter keywords, okay? Understanding can be a bit of the unconscious judgments, and there can be a little bit of the rose-colored glasses involved. Very idealistic, very idealistic. Unconscious judgments is big when it comes to Sag because it's connected to Gemini energy, and the mind's really busy, and we look at other people and we're like, okay, I can't believe they think or did that or whatever, and whether we're aware of it or not, we're passing a judgment in our head on them. Whether we voice it or not doesn't matter. So yeah, there's a lot of that going on. So this is, if you pick the middle card, middle green card, the 9th house is higher learning. Okay, let's read the card. The 9th house, broadening your horizons, either spiritually, academically, or on a long journey. Yeah, see, that's spirituality there. That's like the Buddha, meditation or astral traveling, right? Using the other part of your brain. 9th house, maybe you're going to go learn. Maybe it's about traveling for you. Who knows? Think of all the Sagittarius keywords, write them down. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, comment to me. I can help you out. Okay. The next green card, the 3rd outer card. The 1st house. This is your appearance, your physical body. Something about your physical body. Interesting, because the 5th house is how I have fun with my body. And it's very physical. Leo energy is sports. Sagittarius too. Very physical and strong, actually. So getting in shape, possibly. Doing something to change your appearance. Maybe it's not about exercise. Maybe it's about, you're going to look like the world traveler, or you're going to look like a person who's going to school, or maybe you're going to look like the teacher. Maybe you become the teacher. Is it a spiritual teacher? Could be. Maybe is it the art teacher? Who knows? Maybe it's somebody who's good with the meditations and who has fun. Maybe it's working with children, but it's your appearance. So it says what people see and the impression that you give. What people see and the impression that you give. 1st house, about your body. What are you changing? Maybe you're changing your hair. Are you cutting it? Are you dyeing it? Are you letting it grow out? What's changing about your appearance? And what does this have to do with the Sagittarius and the fun energy of Leo and this Venus? Right. Remember, we're talking about Venus. We're talking about your birth of Venus. Something about your appearance. Remember, Sagittarius energy is beliefs. Belief about myself, belief about the appearance. Do you make judgments on yourself based on your appearances? Are you happy with the way you appear? Are you unhappy with how you look? Venus is feminine energy. My only caution would be with Venus and Sagittarius on a 2-year cycle and fun. If it's going to be food, because it's Venus, Venus does have a sweet tooth, but it can also be wine or substances. So you just want to be careful with overindulgences, only because it's Jupiter energy, okay? And it's talking about your first house. So the next thing is the very beginning of January. Okay. Very beginning of January. This is a closure and a completion, right? We're going through an ending. You know, it can be emotional because it's in the sign of Cancer. It's a full moon in the sign of Cancer, right? The moon rules the sign of Cancer. So this could have to do with the public big time. I would think something that happens and it kind of, there's something there, some sort of an ending that where the public is affected in some way, the emotions of the public. So that kind of speaks to, it would have to be something big, right? Does it have to be something bad? Not necessarily. What if it means the end of the war? Woo, that would be nice. I know a lot of people, public in general, I think would be very happy about that. This is an ending in Cancer. It's at 1622 for those of you following along at home. Yeah, I know it sounds just like the Gemini full moon, but this is the full moon in Cancer, 1622. Yeah, that's January 6th, by the way. And Leo, this happens in your 12th house. Typically, you're going to have 16 degrees of Cancer in your 12th. If you don't, comment to me so I can help you figure that out. If it's in your 12th, it's emotions. It's subconscious feelings, subconscious emotions. There's family and tribe energy, but it's hidden. It's hidden because if it's Cancer in the 12th is the hidden. So that's like my mom is hidden from me. My family's hidden from me. Possibly you feel alienated in some way from your family, whether it was a choice of your own or not. There's something about it where your tribe, it's like when our tribe is in our 12th house, our tribe is like people that we meet and we're like, oh yeah, like, yeah, we vibe, man. We get each other. That's your tribe energy. So if you haven't found that yet, or if you don't know what I'm talking about, you haven't found that yet, is what that means. It's 12th house energy. So it means it's far away from where you're at. It's literally across the ocean. It's in a different country, right? Which can be a pain in the butt. I have found for me, I've been able to make contact with those sort of people from my 12th house via online. I have communications with folks that are on the other side of the world who English is not their first language. And it's just like, this is pretty cool. You meet people, but this is about an ending. So something is ending and it's emotions. It's about nurturing, it's home, it's family. It could be the mother wound. Is there a subconscious hidden mother wound that you have? It could be, when you think of the mother wound, what comes up in your mind? Put it in the comments. Let me know. It's a completion. It's a closure, 16 degrees of Cancer. Let's pull you a card. This time they are telling me to cut the deck. And I'm just like, okay. Yeah, can you guys see that? I'm just cutting it in half. And they're saying to just grab that one right there. Okay, ready? Beginning of January. You get the freaking Capricorn card? Oh my gosh. Well, I'll tell you right off the bat, Capricorn represents responsibilities of some sort. You're getting this for your ending, some closure. Could this be a job? I guess it could be, but we're talking about your 12th house energy. So it's a responsibility with family, possibly a responsibility with mom. Something is ending, right? Or something that felt like a burden in some way, right? Capricorn, the energy around you is serious. It's materialistic. It's tangible. It's very hardworking, and it bestows shrewdness and cautious ambition. Right. Goals and ambition. We're cautious. We're not rushing, right? We're paying attention to where we're stepping and what we're doing because the climb is quite steep. So it kind of feels heavy because it's a steep climb and it's quite serious, right? But if it's a completion and a closure, this could also represent for a person in your life, a male figure. It could be somebody who is a boss at the job, right? It could be that, an authority figure in your life in some way. Either way, some sort of a duty, some sort of seriousness, some sort of restrictions even. Capricorn is rules and restrictions, is ending. Yay. All right, let's get to the next thing, and it is a new moon. Woohoo! New moon beginning. Yes, new moon, and it is towards the end of January. The new moon for Leo. Ooh. You have a new moon in your 7th house of significant one-on-one relationships, Leo. Interesting. You have Aquarius in your 7th house, that means. Now, before I say anything else or pull cards, this new moon happens at a really early degree, okay? It's like 137, 133 in Aquarius energy. So You want to look at your chart, see where 133 of Aquarius is. For some of you, depending upon the time you were born, that there could be some of that happening, in your sixth house. It's a very good possibility. So if you're not sure, right? If you don't know and you want to know, please comment to me below and I can help you figure that out. That's not a fee. That's a service of the channel. That's the whole purpose of this channel, is to help people out with stuff like this. So it's a new moon and it's a new beginning in Aquarius. And remember that Uranus card we got earlier? It's all things Uranus, all things Aquarius energy, right? So groups and friends, different. Wake-ups, shake-ups, possibly shocks and surprises. A youthful type of energy, but it is quite rebellious, actually. So if you have that in your seventh house, I find that fascinating because that means like significant partnerships. And again, these partnerships don't have to be people you're married to. It can be, but it's anybody that you're willing to compromise for, anybody that can be a business partnership, anybody that's important to you where you're like, okay, I need this person in my life, so I have to bend a little bit. There has to be some give and take here, compromise, right? Seventh house energy. But Aquarius makes it quite difficult to compromise because Aquarius is normally, first of all, it's a fixed sign. It's a bit stubborn. Yeah. And it's a bit rebellious. So it's not just stubborn. It will literally rebel just so that it can stand out and do it its own way. That's very important to Aquarius energy. It does not want to be told that it has to conform. No, even, because that's just how it is, And so Aquarius energy, on a not so high level, it rebels just to rebel. But an Aquarius energy on a very high level is rebelling because it says, you know what? This is what's best for all involved. You follow? So it's not doing it in a selfish way to stand out and to stand alone. It's doing it because it sees the greater good. It's a humanitarian, right? So it's looking out for everybody. They're definitely not thinking about itself. It's humanitarian energy, service to the group is what Aquarius energy is. Think about all the inventors and the things that they've created, the light bulb, right? The airplane, just think of all the things that have completely, the computer, changed the internet, that have changed our life, right? Right. We might argue and say it's not necessarily for the best, but overall, I think it is. We've grown. And it's a process. So this is a new moon, a new beginning. It's exciting. It's different. If you have something around that 133, you could expect something possibly shocking. And it might be a consciousness awakening experience. And it has to do with partnership. It's your seventh house energy. Let's pull you a card. If you want to know more, go look for your natal Uranus in your chart. Find out what sign it's in and what house it's in, and that will help you. This time, they're telling me to spread them out, and I'm hearing it's that one right there, that blue one. Okay, I got it. Right in the middle, the blue card. So when you look for the sign, when you look for Uranus, you see what sign it's in. Take all those keywords to the sign it's in and write them down. Look at the house number that it's in. Write all those meanings down. Yeah, I know it's a pain in the ass, but you're weaving all those meanings together and you're writing a story. See if you can make up a story with it. If you need help with that, just comment to me and I'll help you out. Okay, your potential for sudden change, enlightenment, and awakening. Well, what I will add to this is if you know the change is coming, start putting the intentions out there that it comes in a gentle way, right? Like change is good. Normally we grow from change. Actually, that's how we grow. But sometimes it doesn't need to be all crazy, right? Unless you like crazy, then ask for it however you want it. But you got the Uranus card. That just reinforces the change, a big change in significant one-on-one relationships. And again, this is really going to be pronounced for anybody who's got something near 133 in Aquarius. It's a new moon. It's a new beginning. Below the video, I'll have all the degrees for those of you who like to pay attention to the degrees in your chart. Again, if you don't know and you want to know, just comment below.